Good, happy Sunday morning, November 10, 2019. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Sunday morning, so let's begin. First up, man killed, woman injured in boating accident near Bear Island on Lake Winnipesaukee. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
At Beltates, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltates Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
We begin tonight with breaking news out of Meredith, where one person has died following a boating accident on Lake Winnipesaukee. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Charisse LeClaire. Marine Patrol says the accident happened after 6 o'clock this evening in the area of Bear Island. A man was pronounced dead at the scene. A woman was also injured. Officials say the two are island residents and were coming ashore. The cause is now under investigation.
Due to the conditions where we're going to resume our investigation in the morning, we would ask if any shorefront property owners in the Meredith Neck area or the 3 Mile Bear Island area have heard anything. Certainly please call Marine Patrol.
The names of the people involved in the crash are currently being withheld pending family notification.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Mother, daughter, believed to be victims of serial killer laid to rest decades later. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
At Beltates, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltates Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
We as a family would like to thank the community, the funeral home, for caring and loving our sister Marlise and our nieces.
The brother of Marlise Honeychurch expresses his deep appreciation to the town of Allenstown for never giving up on his sister and nieces. The bodies of Honeychurch and her young daughters, Marie Vaughn and Sarah McWaters, were found in barrels near Bear Brook State Park. Investigators say serial killer Terry Rasmussen killed them all. The body of a third child was also found in the barrels. All authorities know about her is she is Rasmussen's biological daughter. For decades, their names would go unknown until this summer when they were identified. Honeychurch's brother finally getting answers in his search to find out what happened to his sister.
Although this moment is bittersweet, they have their names back on this day. They can rest in peace.
Sitting locked in arms with Honeychurch's family is another daughter of Rasmussen, mourning the loss of her half-sister, also desperate for answers.
Somebody out there knows who my half-sister's mother is. If you're considering taking a DNA test, please do. That's how Marlise got her name back. That's how Sarah and Marie got their name back. And I would like for my sister to get her name back as well.
Allenstown adopted Marlise and Marie over the past 30 years, and dozens of people who live in this community came out to pay their final respects.
To have finally been given their names back and a place in the community, it's very heartwarming, but it's also still very sad.
Oh, sweet the sound. May their souls and all the souls of the faithfully departed through the mercy of God rest in peace.
In Allenstown, Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. $20,000 Dartmouth Hitchcock grant to help pregnant patients quit smoking. The medical center says about 10% of its pregnant patients are smokers. Pregnant women who are trying to quit smoking are getting more help at Dartmouth Hitchcock Health thanks to a $20,000 grant from the March of Dimes and Antrim Blue Cross and Blue Shield Foundation. Officials at the Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center says about 10% of their pregnant patients smoke, but that rate jumps to nearly 90% among pregnant women who are also being treated for opiate and substance use disorders. They say the goal is to increase smoking cessations among pregnant women, reduce premature births, and improve mental and infant health. The grant will be used to enhance screening, intervention, and treatment for tobacco use. Voters weigh in on candidate choices ahead of primaries. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Siobhan Lopez.
At Beltates, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltates Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
Let's go knock on some doors because I plan on winning New Hampshire.
At a canvassing kickoff event in Concord, Joe Biden serves chili to supporters alongside local members of the Firefighters Union.
He has the experience and he's an icon of the American dream. He knows what it's like to work.
Dave Thornton is visiting from Michigan and cashing in on the opportunities a trip to New Hampshire can offer during primary season.
We got to meet Andrew Yang the other night at the Barley House and talk to him a little bit.
Tulsi Gabbard is also in the state today with a town hall in Lebanon. Pete Buttigieg making several stops, including a barn party here in New Hampton.
I'm encountering so many voters who are clearly getting into decision mode. I remember back when it was get to know you mode.
New Hampshire voters are known to want to meet all of the candidates more than once.
I like anything that's involved with social justice because I do think that we're missing a lot of compassion and humanity in today's discourse in our country.
Marty Elkins, a voter from Moulton Borough, is looking ahead to who could compete in the general election.
Kind of concerned about how far left some of us are leaning and maybe that it's more appropriate. And I think here in New Hampshire, finding someone who's a little more moderate is helpful.
For Thornton, a far-left candidate may have his vote in the primary, but he sees Joe Biden as a strong choice come next November.
I know a lot of Republicans in my hometown that have told me that they would vote for Joe Biden. So when you think about it that way, in terms of winning the general election, you know, I got to support him.
Siobhan Lopez, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And now let's take a look at your 2020 New Hampshire candidate tracker for today. We have one candidate today in New Hampshire, and that candidate is Pete Buttigieg. And he has 3 events today in New Hampshire. His first event, walking tour of downtown Littleton, New Hampshire at 9:30 a.m. His second event, canvass kickoff in Claremont, New Hampshire at 1 p.m. And his third event, town hall at Walpole Middle School in Walpole, New Hampshire at 2:30 p.m. And that's the candidate that is in New Hampshire today. Buttigieg, Biden respond to Bloomberg possibly getting into race. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Several Democrats hoping to oust Donald Trump in the next presidential election are filing to get on the primary ballot in New Hampshire. I caught up with several of the candidates on the road to discuss the state of the race and the possible late entrance of a big city mayor. This morning, the already crowded campaign trail now facing the prospect of yet another candidate.
There's nobody I'd rather run against than little Michael, that I can tell you.
President Trump offering a familiar nickname to Michael Bloomberg, the former New York City mayor, reportedly close to jumping in.
With regard to Michael Bloomberg, I welcome in the race. Michael's a solid guy, and let's see where it goes.
Democratic hopefuls descending on New Hampshire, reacting to the news as they race to meet the state's filing deadline to get their names on the first-in-the-nation primary ballot. Do you think at this late stage in the game there's room for another billionaire candidate running for president?
You know, I'll leave that to the pundits. Welcome him to the race. Always good to see another mayor stepping up.
Sources close to Bloomberg telling ABC News he's considering a run in part out of fear Elizabeth Warren could win the nomination, who he believes would have trouble beating President Trump.
It's not enough just to have somebody come in, anybody, and say they're going to buy this election. It's not enough.
But Warren, who's been enjoying a rise in the polls, is now finding a target on her back. Andrew Yang, among those joining billionaire Bill Gates, questioning her proposed wealth tax.
France, Sweden, Germany, Denmark all tried a wealth tax, and they all repealed it because they had massive implementation problems, and it didn't generate nearly the revenue that they'd hoped for.
With less than 3 months until the Iowa caucuses, some Democrats, like Mayor Pete Buttigieg, are launching bus tours, doubling their efforts to connect with voters on a more personal level.
Do you feel a sense of obligation that if you were to become president, that you would have to be an ambassador or an advocate of sorts when it comes to issues that matter to the LGBTQ community? You know, every time someone comes up to me, sometimes a teenager, who says, because of your campaign, I feel like it's okay for me to come out and be myself. Or sometimes somebody my parents' age, with tears in their eyes because they never thought it would be possible to have a married gay man running for president. I feel the responsibility that I have. That being said, I'm not running to be president of gay America. I'm running to be president of the United States of America, and my responsibilities are to make sure that there is a better life for everybody.
Mayor Pete Buttigieg there getting very candid on the campaign bus. All the candidates really trying to differentiate themselves in these final months before the nominating process begins. I do want to go back to Bloomberg for a moment there. If he were to jump in, he'd be joining 17 other Democratic candidates. Sources close to him say that by all indications, he's planning to run. They do want to get on the ballots in all 50 states, and that he would make a final decision and some kind of announcement in the next few weeks.
And it looks like he may skip the key early states like Iowa and New Hampshire.
They certainly know that they're just so late in the game. All the other candidates have had the ground game for months. They're hoping for more of a national-type campaign, if he is to get in.
Crowded field.
Yep, sure is.
Thank you, Whit. Great reporting.
Hi. Okay, and there you go on that video in that report. A crowded field, indeed. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. Goodbye, everyone.